Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Big Questions, Small Steps. My name is Amanda and I'm so glad you could join me today. Today we're going to talk about something that's extremely important to the Jewish people. We're going to talk about Hebrew names. Now, you're typically given a name when you're born from your parents, but in the Jewish culture, that name may or may not be a Hebrew name. And in Jewish tradition, you need a Hebrew name within the synagogue. Why? Let's explore. Okay. So the Hebrew name is the cornerstone within the Jewish community. It really shapes your Jewish identity. So within the sanctuary space or within the synagogue, you need a name that is of Hebrew background because that's what ties you to the ancestry of the Jewish people. Okay? So in Jewish culture, they view that your Hebrew name is actually a spiritual call sign of sorts. It's embodying your unique character traits and your God-given gifts. So it's different than your standard name. This name is something that specifically identifies you as a Jewish individual with God or with Hashem. Okay? By using this name, the Jewish people believe that you are channeling your spiritual energy from God. So it goes to your body, it goes to your soul, and you can still receive this energy without the Hebrew name, but it's not that direct and strong connection. A kind of comparison would be using dial-up internet and using high-speed internet. So the Jewish people believe that by having a Hebrew name, you're able to access God and connect with him on a stronger, more consistent format. Okay? Now, when you use your Hebrew name within the sanctuary, within the space, there are specific reasons. If you're called to do a mitzvah, so if you're called to Torah, to be able to blessing of the Torah, to read from the Torah, they will use your Hebrew name. Within the sanctuary, they will typically use your Hebrew name once you are at bar or bat mitzvah age. Okay? In your ketubah, which is your written marriage contract, they will use your Hebrew name. It's not to minimize your other name, but it's a special connection that's only accessible in the Jewish people. Okay? As a matter of fact, in the Kabbalah, which is, so there's the Torah, and then there's other books that are kind of like a resource with additional information, and Kabbalah is one of them. In there, it says that there's 22 sacred letters within the Hebrew alphabet. Okay? And each of them are like spiritual building blocks. And they're all created to bring a reality and a name to things that is of holy representation. So when you use the name, it's like you're using a holy tongue, like you're speaking in tongues in other languages, you're speaking at a higher level. And that helps raise your ability of communication, okay? All those things combined to reflect your distinct characteristics and the purpose of your role within the Jewish community. So the name that is chosen requires a lot of thought. It requires you to think of who this person is now, who you hope they become. It's their Jewish identity. So like I said, it's typically given when a baby is born. There's a naming ceremony for it. But if you are a convert or you're choosing Judaism, you will choose a Hebrew name for yourself. Now, many people will choose a name that is from the Torah, and they will specifically look for individuals who have characteristics or traits that they either embody currently or they wish they embodied. And that's kind of their guiding force into the Jewish people. When you're converting, one of the last steps is you will go into a mikveh and you will do 3 submersions, and then when you come out, you are called by this Hebrew name because you are a new person. You are born again as a Jewish individual with you matching your Jewish soul, and it's a very powerful experience. And people typically love their Hebrew name. They typically know why that name was chosen for them, and it's presented in a way that it's a name, bat, or from, and then it's either your parents' name if they are Jewish, or they will do Abraham and Sarah or Israel, depending on your movement that you're part of with the conversion. So if my Hebrew name was Leah, it's not. But if my Hebrew name was Leah, it would be Leah bat Abraham and Sarah, or Leah bat Israel. Okay? That's not my Hebrew name. I'm not telling you my Hebrew name until I finish my conversion process. But that's where we are at. And the reason they include your parents' name or Abraham and Sarah or Israel is to acknowledge the Jewish heritage, the lineage and the ancestry. In Judaism, where you come from is important because remembering your roots will keep you grounded in your beliefs. So that's the Hebrew names and the explanation as to why you need one if you are Jewish. Now, I know that in Christianity, you can change your name. I know that you can change your name legally. In the Jewish culture, Hebrew names are very important. You will have your regular name, but you also can have the same name. So if you have a child and you name that child Aaron, they can also use the Hebrew name of Aaron. It's spelled slightly differently, but it can be the same name, and that's absolutely fine. Lots of choices if you are in the Jewish community. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.